I've been doing a lot of soldering recently, and the strange thing about it is no matter what you do when you're soldering, even if you hold your breath, the smoke from the flux comes straight up and goes right into your lungs. Now, I don't really want to put that in my lungs anymore. And because I've been doing so much, I've been trying to think of a different way to do it. You can get fume extractors, but I want to see what I can do DIY. Of course, I've been taking laptops apart to use the screens. It's something I've done for a long time. And I took one apart the other day and it had this gorgeous fan mechanism. I mean, look at this. 2 fans. So I thought if I could get both of these fans to blow, even though they're going to be blowing over this radiator, maybe I can use this to blow some air across when I'm soldering, just to push the fumes in the other direction. They'll probably still go into my mouth. But if I get one of these 1, 2, 3 blocks and put it there like that, and I get some way of powering this, I think I can use it as like just to make sure that the air passes over where I'm soldering, and it just might blow the smoke out the way a little bit. So how am I going to power this? Well, you know, I really like these little lithium cells that I get from devices that have been discarded. So I'm going to see if I can power it from one of these. So what do I need then? I need that. I'm probably going to need a socket. Now I've got a socket here. I'll remove it from this Raspberry Pi that I was experimenting with. So I need that, and I need a BMS. Just got BMS out of the box and instantly lost it. Anyway, here's another one. Right, put that safe. So now I've got a couple of wires that I can test this fan with. I think these fans are normally about 3 volts or something, so hopefully a lithium cell will power it. So let's have a go. I'm going to assume the red is red. If I can do this. So just looking at these here, I've got a red wire and a black wire. I think I'm going to have to just try and pop these on the connectors on the top. Oh, there you go. Alright, so that fan works. So I would hope this one as well. So I'm just using the red and the brown wires into the fan. I'll take the little connectors off, I think. Does this one work as well? If I get them on the right bit, it's quite fiddly. At least I know the cell will make it work, and hopefully the BMS will stop the cell getting overloaded, used too much. There we go. So both of those work. Okay. So I think I'll cut these wires off. I might try and preserve the connector. Just a little bit of the wire there in case I can use those connectors again in the future. And these are just recycled anyway. I'm going to get rid of the orange cable because I don't think I'm going to need that. Alright, so now how should I wire this up? Well, I suppose really, even though I've got this, I need to put a switch in it, don't I? I'd like to drive both fans at the same time. And one of the things I need to do is make sure that both fans spin in the same direction as well. So let's test that. Not so much as spinning in the same direction, but both blowing. Actually, this isn't the right wire stripper for these. My normal wire strippers I've left elsewhere. Okay, that should be easier for me to connect now. So let's just connect these the right way. Yeah, that's blowing that way. Now this one might be wired up to go the opposite way. So I think that's pulling in. Let's try and hope it turns the opposite way around as well. I actually think I might have... I think I've just removed the magic smoke from this. Oh no! Well, that was annoying. Yeah, I think there's a very smelly, very nasty smell. I think that didn't want to be polarized the opposite way round. I think I've killed it. Let's just try again. Okay, so I think that's what I've learnt from this, is that these fans only go in one direction on purpose. Oh well. Alright, well let's just try it with this fan then. Let's solder those wires. Okay, I found a little switch here. I think I'm going to use a scratch building technique as well and just super glue that switch to the back of the unit. A little bit of super glue on there. Probably should have scuffed up the area, but YOLO. You only super glue once. Doing this for speed in many ways. Okay, now have I just got, I'm really hoping I've got enough. Yeah, so I can just take one of these wires from here and put it onto the switch. Try not to burn my fingers. Okay, so that's the switch to turn the fan on. So this has just got to go to the fans. So we've got an in and an out here. So let's put the out minus onto there to begin with. And I'll need to stick this somewhere as well. In fact, let me just, well, I can't really test this as it stands because I've not got the battery on there yet, have I? So this is one of the batteries. So I really want to stick this onto here. I can't stick it directly onto there. I have to put a pad under it or somewhere just so we can just plug the charger into it. Then I'll maybe put the battery there on some Velcro and then we can plug it in that way, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Not got much of this left now, some foam stickiness. I'll pop that under there. Lovely. And then I can stick that on the side there. It's going to be very botched together, but I want it to be sort of an interesting looking contraption. It's a scratch build out of electronics and not out of the usual things that I make, but this is going to be useful, I hope, as well. So I'm looking for a bit of red wire now. In fact, if I use this, then I can use the spare red wire off that. So I'm going to take this round here. So this needs to be about that long. Let's just solder these. I've got a feeling these are aluminium wires and not copper. They don't solder very well. I think they're copper coated. Let's give them a go. So battery positive. And battery negative. And then let's remove this black one, because really this should be red. So this doesn't need to be that long. Do it as short as I can. Alright, so that should be wired up now, so there's nothing getting hot, which is good. I'll just put a little bit of Velcro on the bottom of that battery. I think I could even super glue it on there. It's not like there's not loads of these. So will it work when I turn the power on? Lovely. Maybe a little bit of Captain tape over that. What do you think? I like using Captain from time to time. So that'll just hold it in place. If I want to charge it, I can charge it in there. The BMS will prevent that from over discharging. And it is rechargeable. Okay, here we go then. Well, here's the botched wire thing that I showed you in another video. You might not even have seen this yet. But there's circuit boards, and I normally like to solder circuit boards. So I would normally put some flux on it. So here's some flux, and it's the flux that really gives off the smoke. So let's try and zoom in on that a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. So normally when I apply some solder, smoke comes right up. Don't know whether you could see the smoke there, but right up into my face, because I'm always soldering over the board. So let's turn my little device on. Going to be a bit noisier, but now the smoke is blowing to the side of the room. Now it's still going to be smoky, but it's not going to blow straight up into my face. So that is a success. So I hope you found that of interest. A scratch build out of some old computer parts. The only thing that was new on this was the BMS, which I've got loads of anyway, and maybe some of these sockets. A USB powered solder fume blower. Bye.